All right, welcome back to WMAC Now with your host Chuck Stevenson, coming at you with a special event preview. So we're going to Miami, Florida for Combate Global. Combate is bringing us an all-ladies fight card this Friday, August 12th, on Univision, TUDN, and Paramount Plus if you're in the U.S. It looks okay. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you and say that this card is stacked top to bottom with the highest skilled ladies around. But I have watched all of these ladies fight now, and I will tell you this. Expect excitement. Expect fireworks. Expect scraps. There's 5 ladies bouts, and they should all provide some entertainment, provided you do manage your expectations. Now, it is capped off by a strawweight bout that should be very good. And then there's some diamonds in the rough on the rest of the card as well. Keep in mind, a lot of these records are not going to be pretty. But again, we're looking more at the entertainment factor here. So, kicking off the card is going to be a flyweight bout. Taylor Schaeffer taking on Itana Alvarez. Now, Schaeffer is the 9th ranked flyweight, and Alvarez is the 8th, according to CombateGlobal.com. And this should be a good scrap between 2 ranked flyweights, and should be a fun one. Taking a look at the stats on this one, Schaeffer coming in at 1 and 2, Alvarez coming in at 1 and 3. Now, both ladies really need a win here. Schaeffer has lost her last 2. She last fought 3 months ago, losing via submission in Combate. Alvarez is on a 3-fight losing streak. She last fought 3 months ago as well, a little over 3 months ago, losing via decision in her Combate Global debut. Let's see. Schaeffer is the elder fighter. The apology doesn't list her age, but I looked it up and it is 28 to Alvarez's 22 years. Looks like Alvarez is slightly taller at 5 feet 6 inches, 168 centimeters to 5'5", 165 centimeters. For Schaeffer, reaches pretty much identical at about 65 inches, 165 to 167 centimeters. So basically identical. My pick for this one is going to be Itana Alvarez. Both are pretty scrappy. I would say Schaeffer seems like the more hittable fighter. And also, after having watched the 2 of them fight, I think that Alvarez should be able to get Schaeffer down pretty easily. And I was somewhat impressed with Alvarez's takedowns her last fight. I think had she not kept deciding to let her opponent regain her feet, that Alvarez could have done a lot better on the ground and possibly taken that fight. Possibly. So my pick for this one is going to be the Spaniard Itana Alvarez. So we move to an atomweight bout. We've got Elizabeth Avila taking on Melissa Gomez. This is another one. Don't come in expecting, top 15 UFC level here. Both of these fighters are still very young in their career, but they both like to scrap, and that's usually what you get in Combate Global. And it makes for some fun fights. Not the most entertaining, not if you're a technique junkie, maybe not, but again, you're watching this for fun. These are some fun fights here. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at this. Avila coming in at 0 and 3, Gomez coming in at 1 and 0. So both ladies are still early in their careers, but Avila desperately needs a win here. She's lost all 3 of her fights. Last fought, losing a split decision 8 months ago. Gomez made her pro debut 2.5 months ago in Combate as a strawweight. So she's making her atomweight debut for this one. Avila is 1 year the elder. She's 30. Gomez is 29. I had to look that one up as well. Looks like Gomez is just slightly taller, 5 feet 4 inches, 163 centimeters to 5 feet 3 inches, 160 centimeters. So Gomez, I'll be honest, she looked like a beginner in her first fight. She showed some decent footwork, but has a tendency to get into brawls. Like, she's using her footwork to try to get in, and then as soon as she gets in, just like starts brawling. She does have some pop in her punches, though. Now, Avila, one thing I noticed is that she has some poor defense. I watched one of her fights, and she missed a hook, a wide right hook, coming from a mile away, and ate it and got dropped temporarily. And I, not only is she like slightly shorter, I think she's just going to be overall smaller. Period. Good question is going to be, will Melissa Gomez make weight, trying to drop to atom weight for the first time? Well, we'll see. She'll be a fairly tall atom weight at 5 feet 4 inches, so that makes it all the more exciting. My pick for this one is going to be Melissa Gomez. I do see a rough stone that needs polishing in Gomez. Avila, I gotta be honest, I don't see what she brings at all, honestly. And that's nothing personal against her. It's just what I'm seeing, having watched a couple of her fights. So we're going to go with the Chilean Melissa Gomez to stay undefeated and move on. So then we have a flyweight bout. Jessica Ortega taking on Ireland's D. Begley. This should be an interesting one, and interesting to see someone from Ireland in Combate Global. I'm not sure if she's the first Irish fighter in Combate, but she's one of very few in referring to D. Begley. Anyways, take a look at the stats on this one. Ortega coming in at 1-2. Begley coming in at 2-1. Now Ortega's coming in off of a loss 4 months ago. Preceded that 8 months ago with a win. Begley has won her last 2 since losing her pro debut. Made her Combate debut back in, it's actually in June. The fight was just aired a couple weeks ago, but it was actually in June. Anyway, Ortega is the elder fighter, 33-27 for Begley. Ooh, looks like Ortega's going to have a nice height advantage here. 5 feet 8 inches, 173 centimeters to 5 feet 3 inches, 160 centimeters for Begley. So here's what I've seen in Ortega. She's wild and throws wide punches. Very aggressive. Very aggressive. Likes to come forward and throwing those wild, wide punches. And honestly, she tends to rely on basically being tough to get by in her fights, and doesn't always work out for her. Now for Begley, I noticed she likes throwing kicks, throws a good side kick, mixes her punches to the head and body. And while I would say she is definitely the more technical fighter of the two, she is willing to get messy when need be. My pick is going to be D. Begley. Overall, what I've seen from her is just a long way farther along the progression ladder than Jessica Ortega. So I'm going to go with D. Begley to win this one and improve to 3-0. So then we have the co-main event, a flyweight bout. Rosslyn Chavira taking on Chavez. I'm very much looking forward to this fight, having just watched these two fighters earlier this afternoon doing my tape study. But this should be a fun one. Chula coming in at 2-0. Chavez coming in at 1-0, having just fought recently for a pro debut. Now, Chavira is riding, obviously, she's undefeated as a pro. Last fought 7 months ago, picking up a split decision win. Chavez made her pro debut for Combate just under 4 months ago, picking up a decision. Let's see here. Looks like, according to my notes, Chavira is the elder fighter, 27-21 for Chavez. Chavira is the taller fighter, 5 feet 5 inches 165 centimeters to 5 feet 4 inches for Chavez. So not a whole lot of information on topology about these two. Also, I forgot to mention that Rosslyn Chavira is the number 3 Combate Global flyweight. So she's looking to maintain that ranking and possibly even improve it as well. Okay, so let's talk about Chavira here. She throws some nice straight punches. Now, her technique is basic and nothing fancy, but it works because she is sticking to her fundamentals. So her striking is fundamentally sound. Haven't gotten to see much of her groundwork, but I can say that at least for her striking, she is fundamentally sound. For Chavez, wow, she is super aggressive right outside the gate. And her cardio seems to last. I mean, she is a very physical fighter. Looks good in the clinch. Throws some nice hard knees in that clinch. And her cardio seems to last. She basically fought that same way all 3 rounds of her last fight, and it worked for her. Now, will it stand up to, the better fundamentals of Chavira? We'll have to see. My pick is going to be Chavez, however. I think that Chavira is at the level where her technique and her skills are going to serve her well against fighters that are willing to work with that. Chavira is one of those fighters that is just so strong and athletic and aggressive that I feel she'll be able to work past Chavira's technique. Now, Chavez isn't as technically sound as Chavira, but these two are both at that lower level of MMA where you can get away with being wildly strong and athletic and get past technically sound fighters like that way. So my pick is going to be Flor Chavez to win this one. So then we move on to the main event. We have a strawweight bout. Camilla Rivarola taking on Claire Lopez. Now, Rivarola is currently ranked number 5 in Combate's strawweight rankings. I don't know why Lopez isn't. She is ranked number 2 at atomweight, even though she's never fought at atomweight. And she took 2nd place last year in Combate Global's one-night women's strawweight tournament. So I don't know what's going on with their rankings here. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the stats in what promises to be a very good scrap. Rivarola coming in at 4-3-1. Lopez coming in at 6-4. Now Rivarola is coming in off a win over Stephanie Frausto back in December. Before that, just under a year ago, had defeated lost to the number 1 strawweight, Caroline Gallardo, via split decision. So that was pretty good there. Now Lopez is coming in off of a loss to Yasmin Hawagi, who makes her UFC debut this weekend, and that was in the finals of that one-night tournament. So her 2 wins prior to that came the same night. Now they are the same age, 33 years old. Rivarola is going to have a decent height advantage here, 5 feet 5 inches 164 centimeters to 5 feet 2 inches 157 centimeters for Lopez. So I did a full breakdown video preview of this main event here on its own. Please feel free to go check that out after this. But it basically comes down to a couple things here. Lopez is mostly a first-round fighter. When she's gone past the first round, she won a fight and then she lost a fight. So tends to gas out, and one of her opponents actually knew that all she had to do was survive the first round and she'd be able to get her. So Lopez hopefully has worked on her cardio. Rivarola she has some good counters, some good counter punches, but she has a hard time earning her opponent's respect with those counters. Like, they're technically sound, and they're good at, stopping her opponent momentarily, but not good enough to make her opponent second think about coming forward again. Lopez, on the other hand, has some good power in her punches, some good pop. Also, I'd say she is the more well-rounded fighter. She is not afraid to take her opponents down and beat them up on the ground. So my pick here is Lopez, either by an early finish, but if not, the longer this fight goes, it is going to favor Rivarola. So it is either going to be Lopez finishes her early, or Rivarola gets the decision. So we'll just have to see there. But I think this is going to be a very fun scrap. And apparently Lopez is trying to get some fights at atomweight, just having a hard time finding an opponent to take her on there. So that should be interesting as well. So that's it. Combate Global with their all-women's event. This is coming Friday, August 12th, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time in the U.S. If you want to watch the English broadcast, Paramount Plus. For Spanish in the U.S., Univision or TUDN. I know they're on a channel down in Mexico. Can't remember what that channel is. Also, if you're outside the U.S. or you don't have those other networks, but you want to watch it, I have seen that they will sell the event as like an online pay-per-view through Facebook. But if you're in the U.S., you're going to need a VPN, I think, to purchase it. But that's how you can watch it. Anyway, those are my thoughts on this one. I'm very happy that Combate continues to give the ladies a chance to shine and is putting on an all-ladies event like this again. Not many promotions are willing to do that outside of the actual all-women's promotions. So I'm happy that Combate is giving the ladies a chance here. Like I said, these aren't going to be the prettiest fights if you're a technique junkie. They're not going to be the highest level. But what Combate Global's matchmakers do really well is find scrappy fighters who are going to go in and put on a show and entertain. So you definitely want to check these fights out if that's the kind of fight you're looking for. Now, myself, I like a little bit of both, but I'm definitely going to be checking this out. Also, keep an eye out I'll be doing a live fight companion for this one. So I'm going to need my energy drinks because I'll be exhausted by then. But we're going to do it. We're going to do a live fight companion for this. We'll be doing commentary and talking about the fights as they go on. So let me know your thoughts on these upcoming bouts in the comments down below. Now, if you like the video, please give it the like, hit that like button, share it as well, spread the word. And while you're at it, if you haven't yet, what the heck are you waiting for? Subscribe to WMMA Scene Now, the best, most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.